My husband tried to force me to be a stay-at-home wife while he spent my inheritance, so I divorced him and took everything. Hi, I'm Emily, 32 years old from Seattle. I've always been independent, ambitious, and determined to carve out my own success. I worked hard to build my career, and when my parents passed, they left me a substantial inheritance. It wasn't just money, it was security, a way to ensure that I'd never have to depend on anyone else. And then I met Jason. At first, he was everything I wanted in a partner: charming, funny, and supportive of my career. We had a whirlwind romance, and within a year, we were married. I believed I had found someone who respected me and saw me as his equal. But the moment we signed those marriage papers, Jason began to change. At first, it was subtle. Comments here and there about how I was working too much or how stressful my job must be. He started suggesting that I take a break, that I didn't need to work because he was there to take care of me. "I just want to provide for you, Em," he'd say, wrapping an arm around me. "You shouldn't have to worry about bills or deadlines." It sounded sweet, even thoughtful. But something about it didn't sit right with me. I loved my job. I wasn't stressed. I was thriving. I had worked for everything I had, and the idea of just giving it up felt wrong. Then Jason started talking about starting a family. Again, it seemed innocent enough. But every conversation led back to one thing: me quitting my job. "How are we supposed to have kids if you're always at work?" he asked one night over dinner. "I don't want our children raised by babysitters." That was when I started realizing that this wasn't about us. It was about him. He didn't want a partner. He wanted a wife who would cook, clean, and dedicate her life to him. And worst of all, he had started dipping into my inheritance. At first, I didn't notice. Jason handled most of our shared finances, and I trusted him. But one day, I logged into my account and saw a withdrawal of $15,000. My stomach dropped. I hadn't authorized that. I confronted Jason immediately. "Oh, babe, I meant to tell you," he said, completely unfazed. "I invested it into a business opportunity. It's going to pay off big time." "What business opportunity?" I demanded. He waved his hand dismissively. "Just something with my friends. Trust me, it's a sure thing." I was livid. That was my money. My parents' money. Money meant to protect me, not fund Jason's reckless spending. I put my foot down that night. "You don't touch my inheritance again," I said firmly. "If we need money for something, we discuss it first." He agreed. He apologized. He acted remorseful. And then, a few months later, another $10,000 was gone. I couldn't believe it. He had lied to my face. This time, I didn't even bother confronting him. I needed to be smarter than that. I started looking into our finances, and what I found made me sick. Tens of thousands of dollars were missing. He had been draining my inheritance behind my back, using it for who knows what. That's when I realized Jason never planned on taking care of me. He just wanted access to my money. He wanted me to quit my job so that I'd be completely dependent on him, so he could control everything. I knew I had to get out, but I wasn't going to leave empty-handed. I knew that confronting Jason directly wouldn't get me anywhere. He would lie, gaslight, or worse, try to manipulate me into staying. So instead, I started planning my exit in secret. First, I met with a lawyer. I laid everything out: our finances, my inheritance, Jason's unauthorized withdrawals, and asked what my options were. The lawyer told me something that changed everything. Since my inheritance was separate property, I had every right to reclaim what was left. And since Jason had spent marital funds recklessly, I could demand a larger share in the divorce. That was all I needed to hear. The next step was gathering evidence. I quietly pulled every bank statement, every Venmo transfer, every suspicious purchase Jason had made. I even found out that some of that business investment money, yeah, it had gone to luxury items for himself. New watches, expensive dinners, even a weekend trip to Vegas with his buddies. He had been living off my money while trying to trap me at home. Once I had everything, I opened a new bank account in my name only and transferred what was left of my inheritance. I also got my name taken off our shared accounts so he couldn't touch another penny. Then, I waited. I wanted Jason to feel secure, to think he still had control. So I played along. I pretended to consider quitting my job. I let him think I was falling into his trap. And then, the day finally came. I served him the divorce papers over breakfast. He stared at them like they were written in a foreign language. What is this?" "It's a divorce," I said calmly, sipping my coffee. Jason's face turned red. "Emily, you're overreacting. We can fix this." "No, Jason, you can fix this by signing those papers." And then I delivered the final blow. "Oh, and by the way, I've already frozen our joint accounts. You won't be spending another dime of my money. His jaw dropped. He stammered, You can't do that. I just smiled. I already did. Jason fought the divorce, of course. He tried to argue that I was being emotional and that all marriages go through rough patches. But when my lawyer presented the evidence of his reckless spending, the judge saw right through him. In the end, I got everything. Jason was left with nothing, no inheritance, no money, no control over me. And as for me, I walked away free, with my finances intact and my future back in my hands. I learned a hard lesson, but I also learned my worth. No one, not even a husband, has the right to control me or take what's mine. If you've ever had to fight for your independence, let me know in the comments. And if you like this story, don't forget to like and share. Sometimes the best revenge is taking back your power.